Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Mike D'Ambrosio, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. I'm Mike D'Ambrosio, and joining me in the studio today is Laura Pesavento with the D'Ambrosio Real Estate team, my trusty sidekick. Laura, how you doing?
Hello, I'm awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
You're gossam. Good. That's a new word.
That's good and awesome.
Is that in Webster's dictionary or what?
It is now. Okay. I have my own.
All right, there you go. All right, well, we are in the Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. The same great informative. See, we're all over the place today. You know what happened is we both just drank a bunch of coffee, so we're doing good.
But not enough.
The same great information and education as we always have on Real Estate Radio Live, and you can download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, or simply go to 𝗪radiolive.com. That's 𝗪radiolive.com, or you can download our app, the RE Radio Live app, in the iTunes Store. And also, we are hoping that you can go in and find some time to go review the show on iTunes, and go in and we will send you a Starbucks gift card. Or if you listen to the podcast,
oh no, here we go.
From me and Joe, I believe it's going to be on tomorrow. You'll find out more information as to some of the awesome gifts that you can receive if you do go in and rate the show. So
hashtag free hugs on Mike's site.
Yeah, it's not just free hugs, I promise you that. Okay, if you want to reach out, you can go to you can email me, Mike at @𝗪radiolive.com. That's Mike at 𝗪radiolive.com. You can always text in questions to, and you almost just spilled coffee all over my laptop.
You had to go and mention that.
You can text in to 408-630-0101, 408-630-0101. And you can check out all information on RE Radio Live on our website, 𝗪radiolive.com. And if you have any real estate questions and anything real estate or prank calls, anything real estate related, you can go to my website, MikeDCells.com. That's MikeDCells.com. How are we doing?
What's up? It's getting close to Christmas.
It's getting very close to Christmas and New Year's and everything.
Party time.
Yeah, so we hopefully you're getting your shopping done. I don't think I bought anything in the store this year. I think I probably did.
Everything online.
Everything on my phone.
Really? Yeah. On your phone, not even your laptop?
Not even my laptop, on my phone.
Like what?
I mean, Amazon, of course, is the number one.
Yeah.
And then I had some old gift cards from like Sears and...
Sears?
Yeah.
What's that, from 1969?
Yeah. We got a rebate card from like a dishwasher or something.
Holy moly,
so I had
Mike.
Sears gift card, and then I had Crate and Barrel gift cards.
I'm going to go shopping on Sears.
I have gift cards from our wedding a couple of years ago still.
Okay. So you have nothing to talk smack about on me then, about holding on to gift cards.
Well, I think the only gift cards I use now is Amazon, because I just load it onto my...
Yeah.
So anyways... Starbucks. We're going to talk some real estate, I promise. But if you're out there listening, get your shopping done. You have any tips for anybody?
Yeah, go out and spend some money.
All right,
it's
there
fun.
You go. Well, if you want to buy a home for somebody, give us a call, or you can
the greatest
go to the website. So what I wanted to talk about today is a couple of things. The first segment I wanted to touch on, I read a really good article from 𝗘𝗀𝗙𝗎𝗄𝗎, who is he actually heads up our luxury division at 𝗘𝘀𝗁 Real Estate Services. It's called the 𝗓𝗔gio Luxury Division, which is our specific division that markets high-end property. And Alon actually started his own company many years ago by the name of Alon Pinnell Realtors. Well, we actually have Alon Pinnell that works for 𝗘𝘀𝗀 now.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're basically dominating the luxury real estate market as a company.
Plus, he's a pioneer in the industry.
He is a pioneer in the industry. He's been around for a long time. He's from France. He's a really good guy. Got a great accent. He's funny.
Hubba.
Yeah, so no, he's a good guy. And so anyways, he always writes some cool articles. But one of the things that he just recently wrote, and I have some great stats about the average household and different things back in the 50s. But one of my questions I wanted to pose to you, and for those of you guys out there listening, is what time period would you have liked to have lived in? Would it be, obviously, I'm sure most people aren't going to say the Great Depression, but, is it medieval times? Is it
no?
Is it biblical times?
No.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, so what are your thoughts? Is it the 50s, like Pleasantville? What was that movie? Pleasantville, right? Like the 50s, like the Leave It to Beaver type times.
Well,
what times would it be for you?
What's that Office show? The one where everyone's all swanky and you start drinking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mad Men.
Yeah, that's
Mad Men.
right there.
Oh, really?
I'm the pencil skirt drinking in the afternoon.
So does that mean I can start? As technically your boss, I can start drinking whiskey in the afternoon.
You know what?
And all that?
Amen. Let's go.
That sounds.
Just don't make me sit on your desk.
Yeah, no, I won't do that. I will not do that part of it. But you really, so you like those times?
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's just kind of like an interesting time where things are kind of switching and but fun, good times. I mean, just the workplace was a lot of fun, or being a mom at home was also really different and wholesome, and
interesting. Okay.
No technology.
Yeah, I like the no technology thing. I think that's kind of like taking a whole new life of its own, and I wish I like those times too. Other than like the fact that the bosses like treated women like crap, and like there was like some definitely social issues
there wasn't
going
a lot
on
of women in high positions, but
I think from a technology standpoint, I agree with you on that.
Not only that, but they had a lot more free time to like have pride of ownership of where they lived. Everybody had a manicured,
Well, things didn't move as fast back then, and
well, you didn't have time to be sitting on your butt doing technology. You were out mowing the lawn, right?
So I think in my opinion, my choice would probably be like gladiator times, like in Rome, or like the Roman times, I guess you would call it.
You want to wear one of those metal skirts?
Yeah, I want to wear one of the metal skirts. But I like those times. Other than, I don't know, I just think it was a cool time to live. There's a lot of history going on.
You could eat with your hands.
You could eat with your hands, turkey legs, and etc. So I don't know. I just like those times. I think there's a lot of art. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of
interesting.
Life was different, obviously, than it is now. So I thought it was pretty cool. And plus, I'm Italian, so that all plays a part in it. And then you have the gladiators and all that.
You're going to be in the Colosseum and all that kind of thing, rolling in on your chariot.
Yeah, not to say I would do that, but I just think it was just a different time where a lot of interesting things were going on. So
interesting.
But one of the things in this article was about the average American household, and I just thought it was really interesting that pertains to today. So going back to kind of the times you were talking about, like in the 50s, 60s. So in 1950, an average American home was 983 square feet and had 3.5 residents. I don't know what you would call a half a person, but you can figure that out on your own. Today, an average home has 2,349 square feet and 2.5 residents. So basically almost triple the size and less people.
I got to say, we probably have a lot more junk today.
Well, yeah, we definitely have a lot more crap that we have to store. In 1950, 10% of Americans owned a TV. Today, 95% have at least one. And so at least. Yeah, I guess. Well, I wonder where the heck the other 5% are. Do they even have electricity? I don't know. In 1950, 60% owned landline phones. How many do you think own cell phones today and don't have a landline?
Oh, a ton.
90%.
Wow.
In 1950, 0% had air conditioning. How many do you think have air conditioning today?
95%.
90% have air conditioning today. In 1950, 0% had computers, obviously, because they weren't around. What do you think it is today?
95.
75%.
Oh, wow.
And my dad is not one of those. We were just talking about this off air. His office is literally has all these binders behind him. That's his hard drive. He has a phone, notepad, and a ton of files. I don't even know, but he doesn't actually use a computer. So, but that's interesting.
Which is amazing.
He's very old school. He's stuck in the 1950s.
He's still Mad Men.
In 1950, the average annual earnings of an American was $11,000. It is now $44,000 average. And I know that probably sounds California is a little bit different just because of cost of living, but across the country, the average is about $44,000. In 1950, the high school graduation rate was 41%, compared to 88% now.
Doubled. Wow.
Yeah, college graduation was 8, now it's 31, which I still think is pretty low. 1950, life expectancy was 68, and now it's 78. And in 1950,
not that much more.
Yeah, 50% of seniors lived in poverty, and the percentage has shrunk to 9%. So that's good. That's good news for seniors. So, anyways, I thought some interesting stats. We got to take a quick break. Again, for anything Real Estate Radio Live related, you can go to 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. That's 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. Or you can always reach out to me, Mike at 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. That's Mike at 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. Or you can text in to 408-630-0101. You can call that number as well. Or you can go to my website, 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗧.com. That's 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗧.com. Stick around. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. That's 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. That's 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back into Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. I'm Mike D'Ambrosio with 𝗘𝗀𝗓 Real Estate Services and Real Estate Radio Live. And Laura Pesavento with the D'Ambrosio Real Estate team is in. Laura, how's it going?
Great.
That's good. And we are doing the same great information and education as we always do on Real Estate Radio Live. For any information on Real Estate Radio Live, go to 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. That's 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. You can always email me, Mike at 𝗓𝗡radiolive.com. And for anything real estate related, or if you want more information on myself, my team, what we provide at the D'Ambrosio Real Estate team, you can go to 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗧.com. That's 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗧.com. That's easy enough, I hope, to go to that website and check it out. We got a bunch of info on there. So let's get back into, the last segment we talked about what real estate was like back in the 50s, or what the actual specs were for houses, and what, just what the actual picture looked like back in the 1950s. Also, what time period you would have liked to have lived in, which would kind of about around that time period, I guess, is when Mad Men was supposed to be, right? Was it around the 50s, 60s?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe even earlier. It was even not
yeah.
the 60s, but maybe even earlier than the 50s. I'm sure someone's going to reach out and correct me, but I didn't watch Mad Men.
Then we know people are out there listening.
Yeah, honestly, Mad Men to me was boring. The show was boring for me.
I actually didn't watch it, but I like.
Well, the premise, obviously.
Yeah.
To me, there was a lot better shows out there than that. But hey, if you have any problems with that, reach out and we can have a conversation.
Oh man, now you're totally opening it up.
Whatever. We can talk TV, we can talk Netflix, we can talk that type of stuff all day. But if you got any real estate related stuff, let me know. So, anyways, let's go. I wanted to kind of fast forward to now and relate this back to our conversation in the first segment so how has buying a home changed since your parents' time? So we talk about millennials, and we even talked about Gen Z or X on the last show, and they're going to be the next wave of home buyers, and God help us all. But so that's what we talked about last time. But now, older millennials, in fact, are now the biggest group of first-time home buyers, believe it or not. So let's talk about a couple of facts that are going on with the home buying market right now. So millennials are ruling the home buying market right now, but more of the buyers are older. So a lot of Americans are delaying home ownership, just kind of like as they are delaying marriage. A lot of millennials wait to get married a little bit longer. The median age range of home buyers was 33 in 1985. And now it's 44, according to the National Association of Realtors. So a big piece of that is that they have a more mature career salary, and they have had time to save money as values have increased. You know, they have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to push back on this a little bit too, because I just look back on when my parents bought their home, or, you know, their second home. And I think it was just something that you did. It wasn't something that, you know, people really contemplated. It was like just something that you do. You get married, you have kids, you buy a home. It wasn't like some big old, like, mind-altering, you know, event. It was just something that you did, so you weren't so freaked out. I mean, the times...
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think,
times were different back then, and it's all relative, like feeling freaked out once you actually sign all those papers.
Right.
But today, I think people look at it like, oh my God, it's like such a big old ordeal, and I'd rather travel. It's like back then they thought, you know, we're gonna grow roots, and the travel's gonna come.
I think that probably plays a part into what you touched on the first segment, is the people had more time to do things. They maybe enjoyed life a little bit more, and I guess the pace of life was slower. Whereas now it's much more busy, much more on the go, especially in California.
I think people are trying to enjoy life more today, and they enjoyed it in a different way then.
Right.
It was way more family-centric.
Now they don't want to enjoy life like mowing their lawn and owning a home and having to fix it and doing that. And maybe I'm just thinking a little bit too like Silicon Valley, California-centric, because we know things are different here than they are across the country or even across the globe.
Yeah, right. Midwest is probably listening to us right now going, what the heck are you talking about? We like doing that kind of stuff.
They do, but it's just different
here.
Yeah,
we're different.
So fact number 2 is that it's not just Mr. and Mrs. Smith buying homes nowadays. And I'm not going to... So basically what I mean by that is 3 decades ago, the home buying club was almost exclusively married couples who made up around 81% of all the owners. Now that number has declined to 67% couples. Single females compose 15%, and single males compose 9%, and unmarried couples are 7%, and steadily on the rise. So, and that, you know, and that, I was one of them. My wife at the time when we bought, we weren't married, so a lot of people are doing that nowadays, or I guess you call that putting the cart before the horse. But I guess if you know it's the real deal, you might consider doing that. But
doesn't everyone think it's the real deal?
You'd like to hope so.
Right.
If you're buying a house together.
Right.
But I think that's kind of an interesting thing is, you know, now married couples have dropped. Now we have a lot of single people buying homes together. Fact number 3, and this is obviously this is an obvious one. Prices keep going up, and up. So, you know, I'm not going to give the median prices because, well, the median price in the whole country, and people listening in Silicon Valley are going to scoff at this, but in 2015 it was $222,000 was the median price across the country, that's expected. And again,
that's a median price for a car around here, right?
Yeah, I guess. But in California, I mean, in San Jose, the median price last year was $1 million. So obviously, I think we don't have to talk about that too much, but prices are going to keep going up and up, and that's just the way it is.
And also interest rates.
And they will start going up. They've been good for the last few years, but they're going to start going up. Fact number 4, and we kind of touched on this on the first segment, is bigger homes, more bathrooms. So the first segment we talked about in the 1950s, average home was 983 square feet, or roughly right under 1,000 square feet. In 1985, a typical home purchase was 1,610 square feet, and that has grown to almost 2,000 square feet, like we mentioned in the first segment. I think it was a little bit more in the other article. I guess depending on who you're talking to, it's roughly doubled in the last 50 years as the average square footage of a home. And the average person per home has gone down in about 2, and this is always weird to say, 2.5 people per household.
And what's your take on that? I mean, we talk about today we have more stuff, right? But they're building these bigger. So what? Bigger is better? I mean, some people can argue that because now, you know, this whole new millennial generation's coming and they don't want bigger. They just kind of want small and let's get up and go.
Yeah.
Let's not have a lot of upkeep.
I think just the tastes have changed over the years. You know, people with smaller homes, they made it work, you know, and I think over time, houses just kept getting bigger and bigger. We had more urban sprawl, you know, what I mean by that is, especially in California, is that, you know, there was more people, they started building out, and they were building bigger homes. The baby boomers were having more kids, you know, which is not really the case nowadays, which is why I think the average person per household is going down, because people aren't having as many kids as they had in the past. But I just think that the reason why the square footage is double is it's just kind of the way that it went, you know.
Do you
just
think
started
maybe
going.
We're having less kids is because our weather is so nice here and it's not so cold?
I mean, that's good.
Come on,
that's a topic for a whole nother show.
Okay, let's mark that down.
Let's mark that down. But no, that might be a part of it. Yeah,
right?
It might be a factor.
We have the greatest weather here, honestly. Yeah. I mean, greatest for, you know, warmth.
So you're saying people, when it's cold out, oh baby, it's cold outside?
Well, hello.
But no, I think maybe that has to do with it. But I think
Nat King Cole playing.
There you go. Wow. You remind me of my dad when we did the podcast.
I know which
at
one.
Giorgio's, and he had 3 martinis on the air. And
I have not been drinking.
And he was talking about taking some girl out to Giorgio's and then putting the shades down, and then all of a sudden Joe was like, all right, well, we got to take a quick break and get back into it. So it was fun. But anyways, I thought that would just be some good information for you guys out there, just, you know, how things have changed over the years, what you're looking at. If you have any other questions or want to talk about real estate, please feel free to reach out. Go to my website, MikeDSells.com. That's MikeDSells.com. Or you can always reach out, Mike at 𝗪radiolive.com. If you have any questions, comments, you know, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, the reason why we do a lot of these shows is because we hear from you, the listener. Yeah, we want your interaction. You know, on certain things you want to listen to. So that's what we're here for: education, information, and free hugs. That's what Real Estate Radio Live is all about. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be on with Joe, and we will explain what the heck she's talking about with free hugs. Laura, thanks for coming on. Thank you, Mike. And, it's a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit 𝗪radiolive.com. That's 𝗪radiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at 𝗪radiolive.com.